Hey, what's up, everybody? So we have some more draft prospect news for the Packers. It just came out from Jim Nagy here, saying NFL teams have been sending fewer coaches to pro days past 2 years, but that was far from the case today at Central Michigan. 11 clubs sent offensive line coaches to work out future NFL starters, Bernhard Raimann and Luke Goedeke, if that's how you say it. Teams present: Arizona, Baltimore, Carolina, Cincinnati, Detroit, Green Bay, Jacksonville, New York Jets, New York Giants, Philadelphia, and Tennessee. So looking at this draft, it is an interesting question. Should the Packers spend some of their draft capital on, some offensive linemen coming to this draft? Because if we look at the Packers situation so far this offseason, we did lose Billy Turner, who played a lot of right tackle for the Packers. We also lost Lucas Patrick, who especially played a lot to fill in for rookie Josh Myers, who dealt with, that finger injury as well as his knee injury. So I think the Packers definitely lost some depth there along the offensive line. And then when you also add in the fact that Elgton Jenkins suffered his torn ACL, we don't exactly know when he will be back. Hopefully, it's not too long from after when the season starts. And there's just always so much uncertainty with the ACL injuries. We saw last year with David Bakhtiari. There was some hope that maybe he'd come in early in the season, and clearly that wasn't the case. And so I think with the Packers losing Billy Turner, Lucas Patrick, and then the uncertainty of Elgton Jenkins, it does beg the question, maybe the Packers should come in and spend some draft capital on some offensive linemen. Maybe earn the draft, maybe not. But we also have Josh Nijman, who Brian Gutekunst was praising recently, and I feel like he could be a guy to fill in at right tackle, depending on what happens with Elgton Jenkins. Because there is, I think, a good chance, lots of people believe that Elgton Jenkins could, push out to right tackle when he is healthy. But the question really is, how long will it take for him to return? So if we first off take a look at Bernhard Raimann, Central Michigan, 6'7", 305 pounds, so a really huge man. He came to the U.S. from Austria as a foreign exchange student. He actually switched from tight end to offensive lineman just 2 years ago. If we take a look at PFF, they rank him as the 13th overall prospect on their entire board. They're probably one of the higher sites on him. When you take a look at the combination of 10 other sites, he's ranked 42nd overall. According to PFF, he earned the second highest offensive line grade for PFF in 2021 and only allowed 10 pressures. And here is their sort of a small excerpt on him. They say top 10 pick. They say, as crazy as it is to say for a guy who's played the position for 2 years, Raymond's tape is the most polished of any tackle in the draft. So when I've been doing some mock drafts on PFF's simulation, which probably in the next couple days, I'll most likely be putting out one of those mock drafts, but I've been doing a few, and lots of times when I'm at 22 for the Packers, Bernhard Raimann is one of the top guys on the board because PFF does like him, and if he drops to 22, maybe that's a good position to pick. Personally, if I had to pick, I wouldn't want the Packers to draft a tackle in the first round. I would rather them go wide receiver and a defensive player, just because I would just rather them, pick some offensive linemen later in the draft, because if Elgton Jenkins is healthy, I still think offensive lineman is a need, but I'd rather them spend a third-round pick on an offensive lineman, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Gutekunst, he definitely knows better than me. So if we take then a look at the other guy who they were looking at, Luke Goedeke, if that's how you say his name, he is the 100th overall rated player by PFF, 6'5", 310 pounds. So when you compare him to Raimann, he definitely is a guy you can get a few rounds later. He played lots of right tackle, he played right tackle this past season in college, but lots of draft experts do think he could be a better fit in the interior. So let's say, example, Elgton Jenkins comes back, he's healthy. Let's say the Packers decide to put him at right tackle. If you bring in Luke Goedeke, then you could potentially use him inside in the future as depth. Or if you want to keep Elgton Jenkins at, left guard and Luke, we'll just call him that. If Luke ends up being really good at right tackle, you could play him there if he's, competing and playing better than, Josh Nijman, who maybe Nijman will beat him out. Who knows? But I think it gives you some more options there. So I would rather that happen than the Packers spend a first-round pick on a offensive lineman, but who knows? But it is interesting to see the Packers sending their offensive line coach out there to look at these two guys. So it just sort of shows you that the Packers probably are interested in drafting some offensive linemen in this upcoming draft. But if you guys want to stay up to date with all news like this, draft news, Packers news, all Packers news, feel free to subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys next time.